Hey, welcome everybody. Mystery Schooler here. How are you all today? Sorry it's been so long, everybody. I've been working really hard lately. This new job I keep telling you about. All right, we got Jess. Yeah, shoot, man. It's been like 4 months or something. Really appreciate you coming. Two flat thumbs to you, my friend. Yo, Jess, you've been watching those debunking Professor Dumb Day videos? They're so funny, dude. Yeah, I know. Sorry, it's been a while. It's been working hard. I almost have enough money for my new computer. I'm gonna try to make a whole studio so I can have a full blown podcast going, and I even got some hosts lined up, and it's I got some stuff coming up for you. It's in the works, believe me, it's in the works. Pretty much all I need is that new PC, and we're good to go. All right, yeah, I've been surprised at work. I've met a lot of really open minded people, bring up a lot of topics I didn't think they would know about. Like petrified titans and mountains are melted buildings and things like that, and like the dino hoax and all these things. I'm like, dude, how did all these people are waking up? I swear. I'm really starting to think the last couple of years have really gotten people to be more skeptical, which is really a good thing. Yeah. So when I say things like mountains are melted buildings, this is what I'm talking about. Stuff like this, guys. Like, if you ask me, this was one structure. You know, nobody carved that. Not in my opinion. I really doubt anyone carved that like that. This whole mountain was a building and it got melted or something. That's what I think. Anyways, today we're talking about the Vimana and some antique tech. Here we go. On the left here we got the Rukma Vimana. These are ancient flying machines. Hey, we got Max Vision in the house. What's up, buddy? Long time no see, man. How you doing today? Always a pleasure to have you. If you guys aren't, make sure you're subscribed to Max Vision remote viewing class. He's live. Shoot, he's live all the time. Yeah, really, really nice crowd over there. Nice chill place. Relax and chat. Pretty open-minded folks. Yeah, so keep in mind, guys, these are ancient flying machines. These are supposed to be way before these other images we're going to go over later are from the 1400s to early 1900s. But you're going to see that some of the images from the 1400s look like some of the Vimana on the right you see here. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. But yeah, these ancient flying machines is a very interesting subject. Is this the technology that the Nazis based their UFOs on, or I don't know. I personally think those guys are still down there in Antarctica. That's a whole other video. Yeah, the Vimana. Max Vision says, I just found an image on maps in Russia that looks like melted buildings. Oh, yeah, man. Especially that part of the world that's more obvious, the eastern part of the world. But it's here in the West, North America too, and Canada as well. It's like, it seems like it got more melted on this side, so it's like a little less distinguishable. One example I like to make often is the Grand Canyon. Like, why do you think you're not allowed down there? Doi, right? Yeah, the melted building is definitely an interesting topic. I need to make a separate video about that. But yeah, this is a trip because, if you start looking outside the bounds of gravity and start looking at more like relative density, then things like these crafts the ancients talk about make a lot more sense. Because if you look at it from a gravity perspective, it really doesn't make sense, does it? Like, how would that thing fly, right? But with the perspective of relative density, maybe it is possible. Suddenly, more doors open. You know, that's why I think Newton didn't want to ascribe to him. Again, that's another topic for another day. Wow, I really get Final Fantasy vibes from these when I look at these. The creators of Final Fantasy were certainly inspired by these things, and there's lots of mythology inspiration in their video games. Here we have, I think these things could have been Vimana, or maybe where they charge their Vimana, similar to the top of the pyramid or something, maybe a charging station. Or maybe these are them. They just got cooked and they're petrified in place. We're like, oh, it's a building, right? Yeah, so some of the imagery we're going to look at now comes from this book. I was checking this out on the archives, good old archives. It's mostly in French. I did my best, guys, translating the ones I do translate, but check this scene out, huh? I didn't know they waged this level of war with air balloons back then. So there's a massive tunnel bored under the city, leading out, leading in. I don't know. Looks like they're going into the city, an invading force. What the hell? Yeah, we've covered this before, but in my opinion, this seems pretty advanced for the time we're given. They tell us in the 1700s that people were, dying at the old age of 14 and just groveling on the streets and dying of disease and, wallowing in the mud and stuff. Meanwhile, homeboy over here has a sounding balloon equipped to a electrostatic paddles with on top of a hot air balloon, and he's using the like what the hell? Look, one direction of rotation, the canvas of the propulsion paddle folding back in the return movement. The system was equipped with a rudder and a sounding balloon bristling with metal spikes was to collect atmospheric electricity. So this dude's in a hot air balloon collecting atmospheric electricity with a sounding balloon and using these paddles and the energy from the sounding balloon, it looks like from the image on the left, to paddle somehow through the air with this thing. It's like an hot air balloon canoe or something. I think that's pretty cool. I want one. Yeah, and we covered this one before too, but every time I see this, I show this one to people, they go, "It's not real. Is it real? It's just a drawing." But no, this guy super existed, Tetsu Britsi. This is a super documented thing. You're gonna have to accept that this really happened. That you know, we have aerostatic cavalry in the mid 1700s. Uh, you know, seems a little advanced. I don't know. Like, check this out. Look how ornate this balloon is. This guy set up over here, huh? And all this. So they have knowledge of gases and balloons. And we know that they had hot air balloons at these times, but to be doing things like this, I don't know. The story's a trip, man. I don't completely buy the story they give us. We're gonna cover that right now. The Tetsu Britsi made his first balloon ascent in 1785, and the first night ascent in 1786 in a hydrogen balloon. He subsequently undertook more than 50 flights in his lifetime. Okay, that's a lot. What are you guys saying? This guy's riding his horse on top of a hot air balloon, basically. During the last years of the 18th century, besides the military applications by men of heart and patriotism, balloons continued to contribute to national and military festivals. 3 years before the Revolution, Tetsu Brissi, a new aeronaut, gave himself the title of physicist and announced plans for a 24-hour balloon flight using a hydrogen balloon with oars, similar to Jean-Pierre Blanchard. Now that's the one we just looked at, guys, the Jean-Pierre Blanchard. So he also navigated. Tetsu Brissi also navigated using paddles on his hot air balloon or whatever you want, aerostatic. So is this something that we could do? Is this a much more efficient way to travel? Is this something they don't want us to do because then they can't charge us hundreds of, that's not thousands of dollars for flights and overpriced rocket fuel and jet fuel and limiting travel with borders. I mean, good luck maintaining a border if everybody's got a freaking hot air balloon and can travel wherever they want for basically free, right? Like, so I think that's more of what it's more about limiting travel is what the technology nowadays is set up for. It's not for convenience of travel. I digress. Tetsu Brissi though, what a trip, huh? Yeah, check this out on the left, guys. How they would charge, they would refuel these balloons. Look at that in the U.S. Navy. That's so cool. I didn't know they used towers like that to do that. That's freaking cool. Seems advanced to me too for the time. Like why don't we utilize this anymore? Because there was one accident or whatever, or there were some accidents, Hindenburg and all that stuff. But it's interesting if you look into that one too, because it really does seem like a hoax or something like they like. I mean, it really happened, but like like it was intentional or something, kind of like a Titanic situation going on. That's another interesting rabbit hole. If you've never heard that one, the Titanic rabbit hole. Let's jump back to the chat real quick. Yeah, Max Vision says they seem to be able to carry a lot of weight. Yeah. And a lot of people want to say these images from this book are pure fiction, but we're actually going to show some tickets uh, and sales receipts of sales made to go view these flying machines live. So if that's not evidence, I don't know what is. Jess Palmer says, reminds me of Disenchanted. You think it's in the past, then you see Electric City, truth in movies and shows. Yeah, big time, dude. Yeah, Disenchanted. I still haven't watched that one. I think that's the one. Is that the guy from Futurama or something? Makes that one. Yeah, check that out, guys. Wow. Now, what do you guys make of this one? Do you think that the way these guys on the right are reacting to this person in the ship in the vehicle? Do you think that they created that machine that the person's in right there, or do you think that person just sat down in it and started using it and they're like, oh my god, it flies? Because their reaction to it, to me, seems like people who just wandered upon the thing, right? I'm just saying. Sometimes I wonder, is this like inherited technology? Like we wandered upon, like this thing was laying around after whatever happened, and now we're here, and then we're in this thing, and like, oh my god, it flies. What is it? How does it work? Because I'm looking at the turning wheels, and on the top it looks like acidic buildup near the metal, and where the top of the balloons meet the straight line. It looks like metal. That looks like it would perfectly work, like to make a chemical reaction for. You can have electricity through chemical reaction, so. So it's some kind of battery on the top, some kind of battery in that balloon, or maybe it's an urn, similar to the Baghdad battery we found in the past. I don't know, but I look at it and I think like this for just a if it's just a random artist rendition or whatever, it sure looks like it would fly, dude. Like I'm just saying, like you got some energy going there. I think it might actually fly. I want one. Yeah, check this out. They actually got people on the deck and stuff. Lots of people. Two decks, 2 floors of on a ship, a two floor ship. Lots of passengers. We got how many massive hot air balloons tied to that boat? Basically, this is super Final Fantasy ish. One, two, three, four, five. 5 hot air balloons attached to this thing. The heck? I don't know about you guys. That seems a lot cheaper than a jet or whatever, right? Like, what the heck? Is this the way they got around back then? Like, is this something they don't tell us about? Because from what my learning about aerostatics in school back in the day was that they had some of them like for the elite, for the extremely wealthy, but things like this looks like a passenger ship, like like similar to how we take a commercial flight. This looks like that, but man, what the heck? In the 1500s? This looks advanced to me. I don't know. Hey, Sports Nation, welcome, buddy. How you doing today? Yeah, it's like a whole city moving or something, right? It's a floating city. Goodness. I mean, they have the hot air balloon festival over here in Nevada sometimes where I live, and there are people piloting one regular size hot air balloon and it's flying all over the place. They can't even control it. And these guys are doing this stuff. Like, what the heck? Again, these aren't just drawings, folks. They just didn't have cameras and stuff back then. Like, these images are from this book, but we have more receipt of sale tickets coming up here, so we know it. People really paid money to see these things fly in the air. Yeah, again, we got more obelisks, France or whatever, lit up obelisks with eagles on them and stuff. People dancing around them. Surreal, man. Check out on the back, guys. Who's that in the air? See him? It's Tetsu Brissy, dude. He's on there on his horse. He's flying. What the hell? Look, in this depiction, Tetsu Brissy doesn't even have a ship to fly his horse on. He's just straight up flying his horse around now. What's going on? Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jess Palmer. It's like totally out of place technology, right? It's like, what the heck? You have that? Flying machines and stuff? It's supposed to be the 1500s, dog. I don't know if the obelisks have an effect on flight or not, but I just noticed when I examine a lot of old texts or a lot of old books and stuff and imagery from like as old, I basically try to find as old as imagery as I can find, right, Max? And I see in the 1700s and like France and stuff, old French books and stuff, there's a lot of obelisks. I don't know what's going on. And usually there's a lot of fireworks or even the obelisk itself will be lit up. I don't know. It's strange though. I do think it's some form of technology for sure that we don't understand, or maybe they didn't even understand, because I think that the meek already inherited the earth, as the Bible describes, and that's us. So a lot of this architecture that we're surrounded by, we did not build, and that could be the case with these obelisks, and they could be technology that we don't understand, or I don't know. It's interesting though. A lot of obelisk action going on in Europe for some reason. See, now I used to look at images like this and I think like, oh, pure fiction, like these ships didn't exist. But no, we just saw detailed instruction on how ships like this could work. I mean, were all of these just theory, or did some of these actually fly? Like, what world are we in? Look at this, guys. I mean, wow, look at that. How many people can fit on that bad boy? Seems a lot more efficient. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Tetsu Brisky on the right again. But he's on a reindeer now. I think this is why I said at the start of the video, guys, I'm suspicious about the whole Tetsu Brisky story, if he was really an actual person or what. It said historically he's supposed to have been a real person, and then he really did do all these flights. But I'm really starting to wonder if it's like a cover story or like a historical falsely attributed to him or something. Like we're looking at something else here that I don't know the truth, but there's something else going on here. I don't know what's going on with the dude on his horse in the freaking hot air balloon, but and look at homeboy over here on the left. He's got what, griffins or really big birds. He's got eagles. He's got eagles pulling his zeppelin or his hot air balloon. There you go. Shoot, problem solved. We'll just use griffin power. Oh, here we go. Max nailed it right here. This is what I was trying to say. Thanks, Max. The Hindenburg was using the wrong gas, and they used that to destroy the industry. Yes, like the whole thing is like very suspicious and like really, it was obviously for the energy monopoly to exist or to be firmly established to lead to what we have now, to the point where we only fly giant hunks of metal that are expensive and overly heavy and take an absurd amount of combustible fuel and all this crap. So they can make the prices high and they can limit travel. Oh, we have to get the big piece of metal over the mountain. Oh, it costs a lot of money. Oh, gee, I guess we won't be going there. Oh, no. Okay, stay in your cell. That's what it's really about. Germany had to use hydrogen instead of helium. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of ways to travel safely with aerostatic. So it is sad that when you usually bring these things up, people first thing think is the Hindenburg and that's going to crash and blow up, because it really is silly. I mean, look how many plane crashes there are too, right? Like, don't tell me the plane's safe. Yikes, bro. Oh, and right on time. Here's the some accidents from the aerostatics. And like I said, accidents happen. Looks like here on the left. So again, I'm gonna pose the question again, guys. Here's Juliet on the left, 1819, died in this accident. She was flying around her hot air balloon, died, or I think she died. I don't know. It's in French, but I don't think she made it, guys, judging from the picture. And the guys here on the right, he drowned or something. See, they fell in the accidents dramatiques. Less victims, aeronautique. So victims of aeronauts. Accidents, dramatic. So dramatic accidents. So, okay. And then on the under the image on the left, it says mort dramatique. So I don't speak French, but mort probably like more, like more. Mort means death in Old French. So I think it says death dramatic, and Blanchard aeronaut. So yeah, I think this lady on the left died, but these are were people travel. I'm posing the question here: were people traveling casually? Were private citizens just driving these things around like how we drive cars, or was it for the extremely rich? Because it seems like this M. Blanchard lady would travel the world and deliver stuff, like a Mary Poppins kind of lady. It seems like it wasn't just for commercial travel. It seems like people just had these. Like it was a more readily available technology, or a means of travel. Like I said, guys, some of these images we're going to look at here go back as far as the 1400s. Okay? No. Flying in the 1400s? No. Right? Jess Palmer says, I seen a video on an old dictionary. There was unicorn in it, and it described a giant one-horned rhino. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. A unicorn kind of makes sense too. Like, a horse needs to defend itself or something. Horn on it. I think there was all kinds of different variations of animals, especially in the past. I think we're in the Kali Yuga right now. It's like the final cycle of the Age of Darkness before the reset. I think that's Vedic, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, oh yeah, here's more on this Blanchard chick that would fly around this hot air balloon. Uh, yeah, she's making deliveries. See, it's really hard to see, but in the circle image in the circle in the bottom left, you can see someone handing someone from their flying airship to somebody on the second story balcony. Uh, delivering stuff. These guys are going around helping people. Looks like they're surveying the land. And in the top right image, she's looking through a telescope. So these were good people. Uh, the machine de Blanchard. There it is, guys. So this thing, according to this, really flew around as a real thing. I don't know. Does this, and this is what I was talking about at the beginning of this presentation, guys. Does this not remind you of the Vimana? The image on the left here. I don't know, like it looks so fantastical. Like I want to say it won't fly for sure, but like, what is that on the left? Is that a giant like turnkey crank thing? Like, just what is inside of the boat part, the shell left on the bottom there, where that giant turn dial is turned? Unless that's an oar, is it a paddle again? Here on the left, is that what I'm looking at? Is that a paddle sticking out? It looks to me like like you wind up a toy, like to wind up a toy. Are there some winding parts in there that get this thing to operate that we don't understand? I don't know. We see lots of depictions of these kinds of things, so interesting. And like I said, it looks like the Vimana, kind of like less advanced. These look like Vimana too. These things, the ancient flying machines. Popularization by the art print of the first aerostatic machines. Can we get a year? What's the year on this bad boy? Oh, I'm not seeing a year on this one. First aerostatic machines. Check that out. Look how advanced that one in the middle looks, dude. It's so ornate, so detailed. Wow. So I guess they're just dying of the plague or whatever and just, making ye old flying machine. Okay. Interesting. That looks like some Greek god stuff, doesn't it? It looks like some Greek stuff. All right, we got Caucasian Sasquatch in the house. What's up, brother? Always good to see you, man. Definitely make sure you guys check out Caucasian Sasquatch if you're not subbed already. Oh man, I want to get that map, Jess. I'm jealous now. hmm Gosh, I'm trying to remember what that map's called. I wanted to get on the wall too. It was you could like navigate. It's a world map, but you could actually navigate off of it. No, don't hold your breath. We need you, Caucasian Sasquatch. Don't do it. Good to see you, man. Wow, this picture on the right looks really old, dude. Like, what the hell? There's like demons flying in the air and stuff. What's that do with a scythe? Wow, looks like that one on the left is exploding. So, they had their problems. I mean, if you're going to fly around, it's going to be dangerous. I'm just saying, is it really much worse than planes and stuff? Like, and how much they charge us? This is something I feel like with modern technology, we could all have something like this, like some kind of mini aerostatic readily available. If they're really so interested in climate change and trying to save the environment, blah, 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 which I don't really buy. But, anyways, wouldn't they be more interested in things like this? No, 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 no. Fly around the big giant hunk of steel that uses lots of fuel. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, here's the rest of that image, guys. We were looking at earlier. I just wanted to get a zoomed in image. That's what that was earlier. But here we are. Here's the more detailed. What's going on here? Anybody? Oh, look. It says on the left here, machine volante electric. So it's electric. I knew it just by looking at it. I was able to tell that it was electric. Like I said, just looking at it engineering wise, it really looks like it would fly. The stupid thing. Isn't that funny? I want one. Shoot, put a case on that thing, a door. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, Max says, because the dude on the right's naked. It's like if you're naked, you fly better. I mean, I guess if you're trying to do something like actually fly with something so small and like what's even happening here, right? Was the atmosphere different or whatever you want to call it? Was the environment different that had an effect on our anatomy to where things like this were even possible? Or because what is going on in the top right corner over here? Anybody? Unfortunately, Caucasian Sasquatch can't fly. He's just too hairy. Darn. Oh, yeah, guys, make sure definitely check out Caucasian Sasquatch's show tonight about vanilla skies and early photography manipulation. Yeah, oh, that's a great topic. Yeah, they had that stuff way back in the day. I always thought that was like a new thing, but yeah, they've had photo manipulation for a long time, so don't get fooled by that one. Now, I'm pretty sure these the Adventures of Pierre Wilkins, these are supposed to be fiction. This is what they tell us, is that these are very old stories. These are old stories. I don't know. Weird stuff though, huh? Flying suits. So I'm not going to say it's a work of fiction or it's not a work of fiction, but check out the guy on the left here. See that thing on his head? He's got the wings. Is it possible that they're getting high enough to where the hat is kind of having like a sounding balloon effect or something? And it's because I see like it looks like cords almost, but it's probably the threading, which I guess is a cord, but the threading from this hat is going into the wings of the suit he's wearing. So I wonder if they're using like radiant energy to fly these suits, because that wasn't BS. What I told you guys in many presentations in the past, guys, that the higher up you go in the air, there's more voltage in the air. They're called equal potential lines. That's a topic for another day. But sometimes when I analyze these fictional stories from way back when they also had these flying machines that they should have had or whatever, I wonder, could these things have actually flown? And I notice on the right, it's like a little umbrella. See, when they have it open, it's like an umbrella too, and on the top, it's a spike. That spike is important for the design, I think, if it was to be something that flies. And also, the top of the ship we saw earlier, the Blatchard ship, had that same umbrella with a spike design on the top of it. So Again, I'm not going to say that this isn't a fictional story, but sometimes I wonder if this is a fictional story involving technology that they actually had at the time. You get what I'm saying? It's not purely a work of fiction. Like if I write about a car, because we have cars, right? So yeah, a guy from the 1700s wrote a fiction novel about an aerostatic suit. Yeah, it's kind of a trip. On the right, I think that might be Artemis. I don't know. Picture of Artemis, but see all the little children she's got in her arms and the many breasts she's feeding them with. See, we actually have statues of Diana, and Artemis, many breasted. Yeah, it's a trip, right, Jazz? And in Greek mythology, a lot of times when they create other gods or create other beings or whatever, they rip them off of themselves. Like Zeus rips a piece of himself off of a piece of himself, and creates, and then this god was born or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Ymir, the first god in Norse mythology, too, did the same kind of shit. Uh, so sometimes I wonder if this is the androgynous or whatever man, the androgynous human that existed before we were genetically manipulated, which it talks about in the Bible too. It talks about in the Bible that we'd be genetically manipulated and stuff. So I think the human we're looking at now is that we are now is a genetically manipulated freak, basically. This is actually what we might have actually looked like a bit more, which is fucking crazy to think about. But yeah, the androgynous human, that's a really interesting rabbit hole. What do you think all the trans stuff is about now? The perversion of that, of the original androgynous man. What do you guys think? I mean, what's even going on here, huh? Some of these images, I don't. Looks like on the left they're trying to get that guy to fly. They're propping him up real high. Yeah, Max hit the nail on the head with that one. That's how a lot of these flying machines work. Actually, it's pretty simple. Yeah, I see the Griffin. This one on the right to me looks like a political cartoon. Like, probably has to do with the energy monopoly of being formed, back then that we have now. Yeah, see, it's a political cartoon. I think he's inflating his butt. That guy on the butt. And see, the guy is just barely holding on to a hot air balloon that's flying away, and he's coming down to be eaten by birds. It looks like, or something. I don't know, man. It's surreal, but I'm getting a feeling that this is a political cartoon for a political scene that we don't understand, that we don't have any perspective of. Because I'm starting to think the guy on the left putting the thing up the guy's butt. Notice what he's riding on. That looks a lot like the black dragon or whatever you see on the Tartaria flags. You guys are familiar with Tartaria Nation. That looks like what that guy's riding on the left to me. So if this was a political cartoon and I was interpreting it, I'd say the Tartarians are putting something up this guy who's dressed like a, you know, imperialist. I don't know. Gets confusing trying to interpret political cartoons for a political scene we have no perspective of, right? Did my best. But I think this is the beginning of the current energy monopoly being formed. and the outing of the hot air balloon technology, whatever, aerostatic technology. And again, I think this is another political cartoon. You guys see what I talk about? What I'm talking about when I say like making big, heavy ships on purpose that take a lot of energy and fuel so they can charge more. You know, this was the mentality. The heavier the ship, the more expensive the fuel. The more the fuel, heavier the fuel, expensive the fuel, the more we can justify a higher price. See these guys on the left laughing? Does their face look like, oh, they're giggling because they're so happy about their ship and it's flying? No, they have a sinister look on their face. This is a monopoly being created. Look at that monstrosity they have there on the right compared to what we've been looking at so far, right? See, the top is spewing black smoke. You know what I'm saying? Probably burning heavy, burning stuff to create energy. When really it's all in the air, man. Radiant energy has always been available. They just keep it. They just suppress it from us. What the heck is this, huh? Anybody? The year on this one is 1863. Like how on earth would this thing even fly, right? This would have to be some kind of electrostatic technology. I can't think of any other way how something like this would fly. I see like layers of plates in the back. Like maybe the separation of the layers of those plates creates a charge, which gets the front of that machine to. It's kind of similar to a bug design, actually. Now I'm looking at it. 1868, guys. You think that thing really flew? Look at that. What the hell? Yeah, I think there was a white griffin looking on too. Maybe a separate faction within Tartary. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's a political cartoon. I don't think that one actually happened. I sure hope not. All right, here we have the aerial steam carriage. Society of Fabrication and Apparels in Henson. Collection Santa Maria. So yeah, that thing, look, check it out, guys. That thing flew. Wow. This is way before the Wright brothers, guys. It's running on Steam too. Oh yeah, here's more of a Home Volant. Le Home, Homme. This is the first guy who was doing the paddle hot air balloon, so he probably crashed it during the exhibition or something. I don't know. But gosh, they sure seem to be trying things that are way beyond our scope today. I mean, have you guys ever tried to create a flying machine, aerostat flying machine, and fly it around and successfully fly it even for a minute, let alone an entire, festival to watch you fly it? Like, I don't know. It just seems like they're taking on things that are beyond their scope of living in the time they tell us. Because this is, 1890. What the fuck? Yeah, here's another one. This reminds me of Kiki's Delivery Service. It's one on the left. It's like a bicycle with a propeller at the top. Velocipedes, Arians, aeroplanes, bicycle tricycles. Oh yeah. Here we go, guys. This is their ticket. They're charging. You could pay 500 francs to go see these things fly. See? These weren't just strictly images, because people want to tell you this is a comic book, dude. This is a comic book. No, read it, dude. What the hell? This is a ticket they're charging to see this stuff fly. Look, on the right here, this person has that's one of the attractions. See, 1878. This lady's got wings. This dude's got wings and freaking rudder on his butt. What's going on? They could fly back then. They have individual flying suits. This is La Machine Volant DM under 1882. What the hell? Look at that thing, guys. It costs 500,000 francs to experience the tour. Oh wait, no, 500 francs on experiences to tour source and construction of the apparel. It costed 500,000 francs to make, and Exposition University to 1900. What do you guys think, huh? So the Wright brothers weren't for how long after this? Or around this time, right? I got the date written down around here somewhere. It's one of those things I learned to forget over and over again, whatever. It's later in this presentation, but I look for the obscure stuff, you know. You can look at the mainstream shit whenever you want. Yeah, so apparently here we have a sketch of Leonardo da Vinci representing a parachute in 1495. And this is interesting because I think this would actually work, to be real. But if a man has a flag of starched canvas, each side of which is 12 fathoms wide and which is 12 fathoms high, he can throw himself from any height whatsoever without fear of danger. Wow. Check that out, guys. 1495 parachute. And of course, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was the video game Breath of the Wild. I'm pretty sure they got some inspiration from this, huh? Wow. That was my favorite thing to do in that game, was to fly around. Yeah, Jess Palmer hits on a good point. I think that's exactly what it was. That guy died. Yeah, I'm not gonna recommend anybody throw themselves off a high building with just a parachute or whatever. I mean, it'd probably work, but it's interesting. 1495, huh? Parachuting around. I thought they were dying of the plague at 14 and stuff, right? Oh well, whatever. Anyways, back to the far, far past. The locomotor atmospheric, the dirigible, the Emil Gear. Geyer. I don't know, guys. This thing looks like it would fly to me. It's even got it looks like coal or something going on from the top. Got some steam maybe, or burning some propulsion going. Wow. Yeah, again, and this is Final Fantasy. You know, so this is some truth in video games, truth in media stuff for sure. They show it right in your face all the time. Yeah, well, you know how it goes when you test something, it doesn't work the first time. You just stop it, then that's it, right? Especially with science. No. We need to keep developing. Plus, the Vimana were even more ancient than these things, so their ancestors write about it. They flew around just fine, apparently. Check this out, 1851. We have a two-story, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 balloon passenger ship, 1851. Oh, what do you guys think? Not to mention all the military applications of this technology as well. Well, these are fictional, but it's really funny. I like the guy on the right. He's got a belt of balloons, and he's just taking off later. He's tipping his hat later, guys. I got my balloon belt. Yeah, there's a lot on this topic, guys. I mean, definitely check it out. Seems to me like they were more advanced in the past than they tell us with these science technologies. Seems like everybody had a hot air balloon in their backyard, so pretty interesting though. Thanks for joining me, everybody. You've been here for almost an hour. I'm gonna cut the stream. Jess Palmer, Max, Caucasian Sasquatch, appreciate all you guys. Have a great night. Take care.